Hey there, this is Akshit Madan and welcome back to a new video. And in this video, I'm going to cover Flutter Bloc in 10 minutes. So the basic purpose of making this video is because I already have a complete playlist on Flutter Bloc. I have a 30 minutes video on Flutter Bloc theory. I have 1.5, 2 hours video on Flutter Bloc project, then Flutter listener, consumer, builder, then Bloc plus APIs, image generator, Flutter plus Gemini project, ChatGPT project, all using Bloc. So I have an amazing Flutter Bloc playlist on my channel. You can check that out. But why am I creating this video then? So the main purpose of creating this video is to introduce Flutter Bloc Management, Flutter State Management library to those who are new to Flutter Bloc or those who are new to state management. So if you're already an expert, then if you skip this video, that is totally fine, and you can directly go ahead and watch this playlist. But if you are new to Bloc and you want to understand why exactly we need Bloc, then you can watch this video. Or if you want to see how a production grade application uses Bloc, because I'm going to show an application which is already live on Play Store and App Store. It has got 5,000 downloads, and how that app that is built in Flutter, how that app is using Flutter Bloc as the major state management package. Okay, so this is why I am making this video. Great. So let's start, and first of all you need to know that what exactly is Bloc. So Bloc is actually a short form of business logic component. So this is the full form of Bloc. Okay, so we can see that in Bloc we have three main things. One is business, second is logic, third is component. Okay, so Bloc on like very high level, it's a component. It's a coding component. It's a piece of code that is going to be there in your application for a certain features, for a certain logic. Okay, so it's a logic component. Okay, now what is business logic? I'll come to that. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll come to the business logic part. So why we need Bloc? It separates the business logic, which I'm going to explain, from the UI. So UI everyone knows, right? UI means the screen, the page, container, gesture detectors, inkwells, shadows, colors, styles, fonts. All of these things come under the UI part. How the app is looking, like the interface, the user interface and user experience, right? So when you design an e-commerce app, when you code an e-commerce app, the screen of the e-commerce app, that comes under the UI part. So there are two main components, or mainly three main components in any application, right? First one is your UI component, that is how your app looks. Second is your business component, where all your logic is written. Okay, the main component, the main business logic, the brain of your application or every feature, right? Then third is your network component, where your API services, then your network calls, database calls, or your server calls are all written. So we have three main components: UI component, business component, network component. So your business component, I'm not talking about Bloc, I'm just talking about the business component in general. So in general, the business component sits between the UI and the network component. Okay, I'll show an example. But business component is like a brain. It handles when the user clicks on the UI. So user can only click on the UI, right? User can click on the button, user can click on the container, user can scroll. So whenever such thing happens, when there is an input from the user and we need to bring some data or send some data to the network, that is my server, I need a brain, right? I need a controller that can handle all of that stuff for me. So for that, we need a business component, which takes the input from the user interface, sends it to the network layer, gets the data from the network layer, sends a state to the user interface. So it's a cycle. Okay. Next is the core components, core concepts in Bloc. One is your event. So this is a first main component. So whenever a user wants to add something to the Bloc or wants to initiate something, trigger something, any Bloc logic, then he or she needs to click on the user interface, and user interface, whenever we have got an input, user interface adds a event to the Bloc. Okay, so Bloc is like a box. In that we need to add some data. From that box we need to get some data. Okay, so when we add something to the Bloc, that is called an event. So in the form of events, we add certain thing to the Bloc. Okay, then comes the states. So when we added something to the Bloc will perform some business logic. Bloc will do something because it's a brain. It will bring some data from the network layer, from the server, and my UI needs to get updated. My UI needs to know again that, hey, I have got something back from the Bloc. So Bloc emits a state. Bloc takes the event and emits the state. We add an event to the block and the state is emitted from the block back. Okay, so I'll show an example just now. So block, so we have three components: event is run, state is run, and the block, the main logical component, right, which takes the event and emits the state. The component that handles the logic of transforming events to states. As simple as that. Events to states, that's the main work of the block. Okay, what are the benefits of block? Clear separation of concerns, right? So there is a concern. Let's say you are building a feature where you have to like a post, like a comment, or you have to like something. So that's a concern, right? That's a feature that you have to perform, right? So either you can write the complete API call, business logic in this one single file, or you keep them separated. For that second purpose, that is to keep them separated, we need a component like block. So block actually separates your logic from the UI layer, from the network layer. So that's why we need block. Makes testing easier, because if everything is there in the same class, same file, then it is very hard for you to test, because it will be very hard for you to detect what is happening where. In the same file, there itself you are calling the API, you are making some logical statement, you're writing some logical statement. It will be very difficult for you to actually find out the issues, because most of the issues are in the logic. So if your logical component is separated from the UI, you can go ahead and start debugging your logical component directly. No need to look at the UI. Perfect. Okay. Enhances the code readability and maintenance. When your app grows, when you are hiring more and more developers, it will be very easier for you and for your team to read your code and to maintain that code. That's why we need block. Now, as I told, I'm going to show an example. Let's say this is a UI page, okay, where you have to do something. Anything, it can be anything. It can be scroll, it can be getting some data, it can be submission of a form, it can be filling a contact form, anything. When the user clicks on the submit button, let's say this is a complete form which user was entering some data, and now we have a submit button. So when someone clicks on the submit button, that's a UI gesture, right? I as a user, I'm clicking on that UI, on that button. So there is a thing that needs to happen, some logical thing that has to happen. So whenever I click on that button, UI will add an event to my block component. So block is just a class, Dart class, nothing else. Okay, I'll show you the real code. So block takes an event, and block knows that for this event, block knows that, okay, if I get this event, I need to go to my network layer, that is my server, and I need to save that data, save that form data for that user. So I'll make an API call, post call. The network will save that data in the database. Database will say, hey network, hey server, I have saved that data. Perfect, go ahead. Then network will send 200 success status code to my block or my network layer. Okay, then block will say, okay, so data is saved. Now I need to tell my UI that, hey, your data is saved, show confirmation or show success box, alert box. So this will be a state, emit state. So event is added and state is emitted. Now for just after 1 second or 2 seconds, my UI will be updated and it will say your form is submitted. Okay, so that was happening behind the scene, right? Business logic was handling all that data. Just one more example. Let's say there is a like button in your app. It can be liking a comment, it can be liking a post, wrapped with the block consumer. So we also need, because this UI needs to know that, hey, I'm wrapped with the block, then only it will be able to listen to that state, right? So that's why we have certain components, block consumer, block builder. I'll also show that. So your UI component will be wrapped with the block consumer. Okay, so I wrapped my button with the block consumer, and then when I click on this button, it will again add an event, like event. So this will be like post event. Okay, so this is a normal function, normal handler, right? So block, so this is a like post event, and block will say, okay, I need to like this post, I need to like this comment. So it will take the comment ID, it will take the user ID and send a post call or get call to the network, and or a put call to the network, and network will say, okay, so this user has liked this post. So it will save my user ID in the array for all the liked people who liked that post. Database will say, okay, this will be 200 and the state will be emitted. And once the state is emitted, the button will be filled with the pink color that, hey, this user, you have already liked the post. Okay, so that's how it works. State updated. Okay, now These are the three main components, or like three main widgets that are provided by Flutter Block. Block Builder. This is used when you need to update the UI. Like this. Here we need a block builder because you need to update the UI. Rebuilding the UI. Block Listener. When you are not concerned about rebuilding the UI, you want to perform some side effects. Like if instead of that, let's say you wanted a snack bar. You know that message that comes at the bottom. This is called a snack bar. So if you wanted to show that, this is a side effect. This is not a UI building, right? So this is a function that is running, or an alert dialog box, or navigation. So for that we need block listener, because this does not build the UI. This just runs the function or calls the function. Okay. Then we need block consumer when we need both of them. So in that case, you get both listener and you get both, and you also get the builder. So listener and builder both. So this is the theoretical part. Now let me take you to the code of an application which is already live on Play Store and App Store. So this is the website of the application. You can go ahead and download this app. This is MBA Craft. I created this application. It is built in Flutter. So this is the code, and I'll attach this link in the description so that you can also download this app. So this is the code of this application. You can see in the lib, I have core, design, and features. So in the features, you can see all of these features are there. Now for every feature, if you open, let's say I open screening feature, it has a block component. So in the block, as I told you, we will have three main components: block, event, and state. So if I take you to the event, all the events are registered here. That whatever I need to whatever needs to happen in the block component, I have defined an event for that. Start discussion event. So let's say we are interested in this event. So for every event, if you go to the block file, for every event we have the block handlers. So for start discussion event, we have the start discussion handler. So if I take you to that, all the business logic is over here. So over here I'm making an API call. So I'm calling a function which is making a post call, taking the data, sending to the server. So this is the main network call. And after that, as you can see, I'm emitting a action state. I'm emitting a state. So you can see in the state file, I have registered all my states. Now if I take you to the UI file, screening list page, so you can see I created an instance of my block. And you can see I wrapped my whole UI with the block consumer. I defined my block and I defined the state that this UI has to listen. Then I defined the block which this UI has to be connected with. Then you can say, when do I need to listen? When do I need to build? What should happen if I get a particular state? So listener and builder. So as I told, in block consumer, you get both listener and builder. Okay. So in the listener, I'm handling the states. So as I got this state, then I want to do this thing. At this point, you can also navigate, you can also show an alert dialog box, anything. But in the builder, if I get this state, I need to return. So return statement you only get in builder, because return will render some UI, build some UI, show some UI. So there you get a return statement. In listener, you don't get any return statement. You can just perform an action. So that's why I call this an action state. Okay. So you can see, if I get this loading state, then a loader you can return. If you get an error state, then an error widget you can return. If you got success state, then a success page you can return, where all of your main thing can be visible. So this is how you create a simple block powered or block state management powered application or a feature. So you can see for every feature, I have a block component, right? Every feature. If I take it to home, every feature has a block component. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this 10 minutes video where I just wanted to give you an introduction of block, nothing else. I did not tell that I'll make you a master of block in this 10 minutes. If you want to become a master of block, then go ahead and check out this complete playlist. There I have covered everything. Projects are there, theory is there, concepts are there, everything is there. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. Till the next video, keep coding, keep innovating, and thanks a lot.